We're going to do everything we can to honor the sacrifices of millions of men and women who, over the last 250 years, fought and sometimes died to defend our democracy and our freedoms. In 1776, with extraordinary courage, the founders of our country announced to the world that they would no longer be ruled by the King of England. A king who had absolute power over their lives. They demanded freedom. And to bring that about, they fought a bloody war against the British Empire and the most powerful military in the world. Because we're going to do everything we can to honor the sacrifices of millions of men and women who, over the last 250 years, fought and sometimes died to defend our democracy and our freedoms.
Okay, Matthew 12:25, and Yahweh knew their thoughts, and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Just want to start off by saying, Kol Halo Yahweh, H.I.M Yahweh Shai, H.I.M Kahakodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and that by the Spirit taught us this beautiful truth. And just want to say the water to all the H.I.M and Akhwaf that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai to the best of their ability. This is Yahkanan Nawaf. Just coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. Hey, now. And yeah, was just watching a little bit of that No King's Day protest, and just so happened to catch Bernie Sanders while he was up there. You know, a whole bunch of, you know, pastors from all different denominations, a bunch of different damn religions, all grouped up together, holding hands, praying in Muslim and sweet white baby Jesus and East Indian, you name it. Just a bunch of bullshit, man. This place is on a downward spiral, circling the toilet, and it needs to be circling the toilet. But it's that separation that we know that it's circling the toilet, because the scriptures is real. You know, the Lord said that his word would not return to him void, you know, but it'll go out and do, you know, roughly paraphrasing, it'll go out and do what he sent it forth to do. And when he said that a nation divided, or a kingdom divided, or a family divided, it can't stand, he meant that. He wrote that. That's live. That's his word, you know, and nothing can stop that, you know. And the Lord is really setting it up for these people to, you know, have a great fall, man. So now, in the New Living Translation right here, let me read the same verse in the New Living Translation. It says Yahushai, which it says Jesus, but we say Yahushai because that's the true name of the Son, the true name of our King that's coming to save us out of the hands of our enemies, these so-called white people that's calling themselves white when they're actually pinkish to reddish in color. They're actually Edomites, because this is a war between Esau and Jacob. Esau became the progenitor, or his name was changed to Edom. You know, he goes by Edomite, or Edom as well. His name was changed to Edom because he's, well, not changed, but Esau and Edom are synonymous. But Edom goes into being red. That's why we say so-called white, because they're not actually white. They don't look like a glass of milk. And there's no such thing as black people. You know, the people that are being called black and brown and all these different bywords, African Americans and, you know, Jamaicans, Haitians, Latinos, Dominicans, so on and so forth, they come from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They are Israelites, and this is what this fight is all about. If you're familiar with the story in Genesis chapter 25, when our foremother and our forefather Isaac and Rebekah, you know, they had the twins Esau and Jacob, and the blessings went forth when Isaac blessed, you know, Jacob, and he also blessed Esau. They both have separate blessings. They're kind of similar, but one is carnal and one is spiritual. And Jacob has that spiritual for everlasting covenant, or that everlasting promise with the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and this is what they're so pissed about. And really that's the fight that's going on in the planet. The rest of these nations are just kind of like extras in a movie, because this is like one big movie. You have a villain and you have a hero. And right now the villain is winning, which is Esau. That's just how movies roll. Movies are just like that too. That's where Esau gets that concept of when you're watching a superhero movie, you know, there's this fight, you know, Esau, you know, the villain, he mostly throughout the movie, he's getting the best of the hero. But at the end, you got what you have a grand finale, you know, so to speak. It comes and, you know, there's this huge fight. You know, the enemy, he wins, or the villain, he wins just one more time. But then there comes that mighty come up of the hero. It's in all comic book movies. It's in Superman, Batman, you name it. Every movie that's got to do with comics. And that's where Esau gets that from. Because he understands and knows that we are the children of Israel, and that once we're changed and we get those heavenly bodies, we're going to be those very superheroes that he tries to, you know, imitate on film. You know, but anyway, this is a battle between these two sons, Esau and Jacob. And we're about to go into another part of the prophecies, man. And, you know, civil war has to come. Of course, they're going to implement the mark of the Beauty and the Beast. This is all a part of their movie. This is all a part of the villains come up in the last part of the movie. They're going to implement, you know, a couple of other things, you know. But World War III is on the plate. And then eventually it's going to come to a point where the real superhero comes into play, Yahweh Shai, which the world ignorantly calls Jesus. So that's his name, Yahweh Shai, which means that he's the savior or deliverer in the Paleo Hebrew. That's kind of like where they get the concept of the Superman movie as well, you know. But and the true name of the Father is Yahweh. Let me just put that out there too, because these names are very, very important in these last days. Those are the names to call on, because those are the names that are awakening the elect of Israel. Those are the names that the elect of Israel are going to be calling on, you know, and the 1/3 of Israel, you know, that the Lord has already predestinated, you know, he has already chosen. But his name is Yahweh, which means that he exists, or the existing one. And again, the true name of the Son is Yahweh Shai, which means that he's the savior or deliverer in the Paleo Hebrew. And we know that the name of the Father is not Jehovah. We know that the name of the Son is not Jesus, because the letter J was invented in 1524 by a Grand Miriam named Giorgio Trissino. So that letter is only 500 years old. So if the Lord walked the earth 2,000 years ago, and we know that the scriptures are far older than that, going back to the Old Testament, then the names of the Lord, the Father, and the Son cannot be Jehovah and Jesus. I mean, we know that, you know. So let's get this in the NLT, the New Living Translation. It says, and if Satan is let me slack you, verse 25. Yahweh Shai knew their thoughts and replied, any kingdom, and this is a kingdom, and it's not just America, because Esau's kingdom, it expands the globe, because he's in control of the entire planet. That's why Job 9:24 talks about the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So these are Edomites that are in Germany, Edomites that are in you know, the EU, NATO, you know, Poland, you name it, Austria, all these different places where they've gone and conquered and stolen and have taken over by the sword that they were blessed with. These are all Edomites, and they're all falling. So it's all their kingdom, you know. But you know, in a sense of America, though, and this is going on in all these Edomite countries. The people are riling up against the government. They're coming up against their governors and senators, and they're, you know, just the people that make the policy, because they're not being treated right, and they're starting to see it. You know, they're starting to see that there's only one set of people that's benefiting from the planet, and that's the elite of the Edomites, and they've left their brothers and sisters behind. So they're pissed, like, you know, hey, you know, you got us over here pinching pennies and eating crumbs while your ass is, you know, living off the fat of the land. Like, no, you're supposed to be sharing that with us, because the Lord, because they were blessed with the fatness of the earth, you know. So again, Matthew 12:25, Yahweh Shai knew their thoughts and replied, any kingdom divided by civil war. And that's pretty much what this is coming to. I was kicking it with the Edomite yesterday at the job. He's an older Edomite, 70 years old, and he just mentioned it to me yesterday. We was listening to the talk news radio. He was like, oh yeah, I believe this place is gonna go into civil war soon. And I told him, yeah, I know it's gonna go into civil war. You know, so he could actually see it because he voted for Trump. I can see now that, you know, he's not too cozy about that decision that he made, because he thought that Trump was going to really do that thing, that great white hope for him. But now he's starting to see that he hasn't, you know, done what he said he was going to do, man. You know, he's gone totally left with what he was talking about when he was campaigning. And they're starting to see that. So a lot of these, not only are those Democrats coming up against King Trump, but some of his own people are starting to realize, okay, nah, this dude is fucking the place up. Okay, but it says again, Yahweh knew their thoughts and replied, any kingdom divided by civil war is doomed. A town or family splintered by feuding will fall apart. And that's what you're saying. And it's a lot of people, man. That was just New York that we were seeing. They're all 50 states. All 50 states got a no king protest going on. And guess what? Trump don't give a shit about that. You know what? Because this guy, he's like a big ass kid. He's basically, you know, he's at a point of saying, no, I'm gonna show you. So they're not doing nothing but, you know, riling his ass up to make him do something even more stupider, which is great. I say, yeah, you know, because again, he's not gonna look at the fact that, okay, these are Americans. This is half of America that's coming up against me. Let me try and quell this noise. No. He's not going to try and do that, because he's very selfish and he's very prideful. And the Lord has placed that pride on his heart. So his ass can fall. All of America is about to fall. Let's get this one in Ecclesiastes 25:7. A little quick before camp lesson. I'm about to head out in a little bit. It reads, there be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. And this is what we're joyful over, man. We're glad to see the fall of our enemies. Now, if you notice in with that clip of this guy giving that doofy ass speech, you know, you as you notice, you've seen the so-called nigga woman there, so-called nigga in the background of this dude. Then he goes to mention in 1776, 250 years ago, when you niggas was in complete fucking captivity, and you standing there talking about you know, listening to this dude and rallying behind this dude like you're gonna get some type of freedom. He's not talking about you, you know, even though he's using you as a man. Yeah, he'll use you, but he's not thinking about you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You think Bernie Sanders give a fuck about y'all? He don't care. Because he's a small hat himself, if I'm not mistaken. Or, you know, one of those little hat people. You know? So he's out there giving that speech, yeah, and the people came up against the king. And, okay, well, if you're so patriotic, why didn't you stick with your king and what he was about? You ran from your own country, and you're the actual immigrants. You know, came here, stole the land from the so-called Native American Indians, which is the tribe of Gad. Now you here telling everybody else that they're immigrating and they gotta go. See how that works? See, so this man is a damn hypocrite. He shouldn't even mention 1776 with all them so-called black people there. But guess what he did? It flew right out of his mouth naturally. And Jake standing there looking stupid as hell, clapping, as if they had something to do with the freedom of 17 or their independence from their king. Right? And then the very slavery or servitude or bondage that they felt like they was under, they came here and then they put another nation of people under that same bondage. Right? No different than what the tiny hats are doing. The tiny hats, remember when they had the whole low, the cost, you know? You see all these pictures with them all skinny as hell, they all skin and bones, and they was treated so bad. Now all of a sudden, here you go, they get a little bit of power, and look at what they're doing to those Palestinians over there. They're doing the exact same thing, if not worse. So you Edomites, on a whole another level, you're a bunch of damn hypocrites, and you're starting to be found out. But let me just grab one more, because these people are starting to come up against the governments, and that's what's happening, man. Oh no, I want second Esdras, chapter 15. I think normally get it all. Well, I can get it all. You know, let's start at verse 14. Second Esdras 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. So woe to the people on the planet, man, especially with Esau in power. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. What do you think that's entailing? That's going into a civil war. That's going off into people, the Egyptian against the Egyptian. That Isaiah 19:2. These people are about to come up against each other, man. Because you got these people. Esau is not that smart. He's not as smart as he pushes himself out there to be. Because these Edomites don't understand. Even though the ones that voted for Trump, they don't get it. They don't understand that your ass is through too. They don't get it. They've given you a side to play on. It's like two rivalry football teams. You play on this team and they play on that team, but you both play for the network, so to speak. You don't have sense enough to say, well, all right, after the game we can all go get beer and pizza together. They don't have that type of sense. Like, no, we can't even associate with them. We can't even deal with them. Even though you're all supposedly Americans. All right, but it says, for sword, verse 15 again, 2nd Esdras 15:15, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, which means it's close. And one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. And that sword is the modern day gun, but it could be an actual sword. You're going to see people out here with fucking bats with nails in them. You know what I'm saying? A goddamn tire iron, anything they can get, a damn tree limb, a piece of lumber that's on the ground, a damn brick, a rock. Everything is going to become a weapon when these people get to charge in the streets and that tear gas get to flowing and smoke grenades get to getting thrown at y'all asses. There ain't going to be no rubber bullets neither. When this military get out here on y'all asses, they're going to be shooting live rounds. Okay, but it says, a man shall desire to go into a city. Salakia, I missed one. Verse 16 is the point too. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. See, they're not regarding King Trump right now, even though they're not doing anything outrageous right now, because it's gonna come to a point of real fucking cannon fire, man. Right now it's supposedly just peaceful protests, but guess what? Trump, he just signed an executive order that these people that are linked up and meeting up for this No King's Day, they can actually be arrested for insurrection, or what is he calling it? I think they just arrested like the first 2 people on this new Antifa. Yeah, he signed an executive order on I think he's branding Antifa, which is not even an organization. It's really just anybody that agrees with his ass. But anybody that's getting together protesting, he's trying to flip it as if, you burn a flag, it can cause incite, and, people can get to fighting and shit can get fucked up. But okay, well, you got laws in place for that. If people get out here and they lose their damn head, then the police officers need to be throwing their fucking ass in the back of a van and charging them. If they get so mad at a person that might burn a flag. No? So what's the thing here? But Trump, he signed that executive order where basically these people that are out here protesting right now, they can be seen as pretty much domestic terrorists. That's what he's saying. It ain't no telling. They might round up a few of them just to make an example to push his little agenda. But see, a lot of these megas, though, the ones that actually, they went to war. They actually believe in the Constitution. Some of these people are looking like, nah, well, that's not what I went to fight for. I may not agree with these people, but they're able to do that shit because of what I fought for. Because when I go out in the streets and I protest and I say what I want to say, I don't want to hear shit neither. So let them do what they're doing. But Trump, he's saying that, nope, anything that you say against me, anything that you say against my cabinet or my administration, or if you're going against anything that I think is or deem is right, you see how he's coming down on his political foes. He's after James Comey right now. They just indicted John Bolton, I think yesterday or the day before. So he's coming after anybody that's basically that said anything negative against him that he don't like. Right? So I mean, it is what it is, man. This is what it's all boiling down to. This is verse 17, 2nd Esdras. Let me get verse 16 again. 2nd Esdras 15-16, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. There's going to come a point where shit going to be shut off. shut down, or it could just be so fucking chaotic that you may not want to even leave your house to begin with. You may not even be able to make it up the block. Might be fucking burning cars, burning damn car tires. Ain't no telling how this shit gonna play out, man. You know, we'll see, you know. We'll see. But this man could come in, block shit off with the military. They setting up the military already. They can come in and siege your ass in and starve your ass to death, man. You know, no water, no nothing coming in or out. That's the way that Esau gets down. He done that, you know, with the children of Israel, you know, back in 70 AD. Sieged them in, man. And Jake started eating each other, started eating the kids and shit. Right? But it says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. So if the men are afraid, you know goddamn well you women gonna be terrified. This is what's coming down the pipe, man. It's about to be a lot of chaotic shit out here. Now, see, a lot of those Edomite women, and I was driving, you know, in some back roads and shit this past week and shit, because I had to go and do some runs, but it was a bridge out off a main street or main highway type of deal that I normally would take. And I'm like, damn, what the fuck am I going to do? So I started, you know, trying to maneuver. And as I'm maneuvering, you know, these Edomites, man, they live up in them backwoods and shit, you know, just off dirt roads and shit. And I'm thinking like, damn, these motherfuckers up there, and they living good. You know, real nice places, real nice homes and stuff like that. But, you know, that's Esau. You know, he's got the camper. He's got the jet skis. He's got the ATL, you know, the ATVs. You know, that's how Esau lives. He got the pool. You know what I'm saying? And when Esau feels as if he can't have those things, he's doing bad. They got the big-ass camper, you know. They pulling the car on the back, but now some of these Edomites, they're living out of those fucking campers. But these are the ones that's in those backwoods, and they know how to shoot. Their wives know how to shoot. They have plenty of guns. They have plenty of ammo. This is what they do. They buy shit by the pallet, man. While you Jake just in the hood, you know, you wasting up your little bullets on fucking New Year's, shooting your little shit in the sky. You know, and again, you know, hey, the Lord gonna place a spirit on Jake to get down. It's gonna be a bunch of get down, but it's gonna be a whole lot of death out here, man. It's gonna be a lot going on out here. Okay, but I'm gonna end out here in a second. Let me get this last one. Verse 18 again, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. Yep. So all that's coming down the pipe, and we'll see how it all plays out, man. But all that is coming down the pipe, because it's gonna be, you know, no fucking food. And you already can see, you know, we haven't seen the real true effects of this shutdown of you know, because they're talking about there may not be no SNAP or no food stamps for these chicks, man, for November. I seen one video with this one chick. She was like, hey, hold on to what you get in October, you know, because of the shutdown. And then at the same time, too, it's not just the shutdown that's going on. It's Trump cutting a lot of that shit, too. You know, so it's gonna cause a lot of uproars. It's gonna cause it's all just a you know, a pot of chili brewing, man. You know, everything is about there, man, before it's time to be served, man. You know, so let me just get this one last one I quoted. Isaiah chapter 19, verse 2. And it reads, and I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptian, and they shall... Salakia. I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptian, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And the Egyptians is going off into you so-called, you modern day Americans. Because this is spiritually Egypt, man. This is spiritually Sodom, because America takes on a lot of the Egyptian customs, man. And people don't really realize. See, these Edomites, they're so proud of their so-called white privilege customs, or what they deem to be white privilege customs. But they don't even know that you copying after some melanated people. Your whole thing is after some goddamn some Hamites, man. But anyway, I just seen that you know, they gonna probably be doing that all day. They probably Fox gonna be probably back and forth with that all day long on the news and shit. We'll see who gets you know, we'll see if any of them get you know, tear gassed, or motherfuckers, you know, catch some rubber bullets or some shit to the head. or if there be some scraps between them and the Republicans and whoever the hell else. We will see, you know. But in the meanwhile, you know, hey, keep your head on a swivel. We're definitely in the end of this thing. We're getting closer and closer. Stay alert and stay focused, man. And we're not to be involved, you know. Avoid any of that shit. If you know that there's one of those protests going down in your area, drive a different way from that shit and stay away from it, man. So with that, pray that the lesson was edifying. Kwame Yasha Allah and a Bible bar.